Hey everybody, this is Prince's Friend. I'm back again with the second review for the second week of Graffiti Bridge Reviews, and this time we're going into the Ingrid Chavez review for May 19, 1992. Now, some of you might be thinking, why was the album called May 19th, 1992 when it was released on September 24th, 1991? Well, when that picture was taken was actually May 19th, 1991, so the album was titled after the 1-year anniversary of when that photo was taken. And it's a really pretty photo. Like, it's her bent over and then there's water. I think it's gorgeous. I think that's water. So Ingrid Chavez was always kind of a weird thing for me. I immediately saw her on Graffiti Bridge. I thought she was gorgeous. I loved her voice. She had like a soft, what if I did the whole review like this? Wouldn't that just be weird? I think it would be. So Prince ran into her in a club. According to an interview with Ingrid, she said that Prince strolled in and he kept looking at her, so she passed him a note at the bar and then they started talking. She apparently introduced herself as Gertrude and he introduced himself as Dexter, and then apparently that was just their names for each other for the longest time. I thought that was kind of a little cute story. But it's interesting because she kind of just came and went. She was one of the co-writers of Justify My Love, which was a huge hit for Madonna, and she co-wrote that with Lenny Kravitz, so I think that's already right there. That kind of gives her some clout there. She did that song, and apparently there were some legal things with that song, and then it ended up that she didn't like how the music industry works, so she ended up leaving. There was that as well as this, because apparently Prince fell in love with Ingrid's poetry and said, hey, we need to put a little bit of music behind your poetry. I think that you have a beautiful voice, and I would just like to enhance it with just a little bit of music in the background. And that was what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be spoken word poetry with a little bit of music supplied in the background by Prince. But what ended up happening was Warner Brothers listened to the first few cuts and said, no, we need this to have sung songs, no more spoken word. And Prince was like, no. I think I'm good. I don't need to be a part of this if it's not going to be part of what I wanted it to be. But Ingrid went ahead and pushed on because, it was an album. She really kind of wanted... Why wouldn't you want to release an album? So basically 5 tracks on here. So Elephant Box, Slappy Dappy, Jadestone, Whispering Dandelions, and Heaven Must Be Near ended up as spoken word with atmospheric music by Prince under his Paisley Park alias. And basically the remainder were kind of poppy tracks, sung vocals. Those were actually co-produced by Ingrid and Michael Koppelman and Levi Caesar Jr., which again, I think is showing that is around this time that Levi Caesar Jr. was becoming integral to Paisley Park. The singles were Hippy Blood, Heaven Must Be Near, and Elephant Box. They had club remixes and everything. We're not going to cover those today. They did relatively well, but not super great because Warner Brothers wasn't really helping to promote the album or to really push it as much as they do bigger acts. But let's go ahead and get into the review because I was pleasantly surprised by what I got when I listened to this album.
Heaven must be near. Heaven must be near. Heaven must be near. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. I sit my nights moon gazing, pulling stars from the sky, and building my dreams upon their very light.
So the first track is Heaven Must Be Near, and I think it sets up the album really well. It's the prime example of the type of musical experience that you're basically going to get on this album. Speaking over a really kind of funky beat, and I think that the voice and beat really mix really well. She's good at speaking rhythmically, as we know from Graffiti Bridge, where she spoke rhythmically without any music behind her. But I really like that the chorus actually borrows the clap your hands, stomp your feet from I Know, which was from Lovesexy. I can't really say that I'm an expert on deciphering poetry. This one definitely had me confounded. I'm not really sure what a lot of the lyrics are saying, but I could listen to Ingrid Chavez just talk forever. I think this is really beautiful. Hippy Blood is very descriptive about what it's like to kind of be in a trance of love and togetherness, kind of like a hippie. It feels like she's on some sort of drug or spirit quest on this song. The chorus is well done, and her voice is magnetic here. Musically, the beat is slightly boring. It kind of just, it's the same beat over and over again, but it doesn't detract from how great this track is.
Candle dance. The storms you once in a lifetime chance. I'll strike a match and ignite the fire and start to kindle life's burning desire. The storm pounds the ground.
So the music on Candle Dance is perfect for putting on in the background while you're making love, I'm just saying. The lyrics are definitely about that, watching a candle dance while so many other things are occurring to your body. There's some faint panting and moaning in the background that really enhances the track too. Sadly, Ingrid kind of reads the poem over the beat in a kind of non-sexy way, like she's just reading it. Her voice is super kind of sexy and attractive anyway, so I think it still works. She could have put, you know, a little bit of sexy on her voice, and I think it would have delivered the track even better and brought it up to like an 11, but I think it's still great.
Rolling around in an elephant box. Rolling around in an elephant box. Rolling around in an elephant box. A smile gleams in my heart.
So this song begins with an interesting kind of carnival or Jack in the Box kind of song before cutting into a funky beat and some interesting keyboards. The song is about kind of a surreal dream that Ingrid had where she's rolling around in an elephant box. What's an elephant box? I'm not really sure, but like I said, I feel like it's almost like a Jack in the Box. Maybe that's the same thing, I'm not sure. Musically, the beat is nice, and then it like breaks down into like a cool piano solo. All in all, really nice track. And if you remember, this was one of those Prince tracks.
I'll be your Slappy Dappy, only there to make you happy. And if you cry, I won't ask why. I'll just kiss you till you're dry.
So the lyrics to Slappy Dappy are actually on the more simplistic side than what you get off of the rest of the album. She's basically saying in the song that she'll be whatever the man needs her to be to make him happy, even if that ends up hurting her. And in this case, she says, I'll be your Slappy Dappy. I mean, which is a hilarious phrase, but the music has a really interesting beat to it, but doesn't necessarily fit with the poem itself. So this song is about a single mother struggling to get by, and Ingrid is singing that sometimes things just aren't as bad as they seem, keeping it positive. I like that overall. However, the beat is okay. There's some yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a little off-putting and really doesn't fit with everything else that you've heard on the album so far, and will hear for the rest of it. I think they were trying to be a little poppier with this track, but I don't know if it really worked all that well. I would have really loved to have heard her just read this, and I think it might have been way better.
Jadestone. In the days of flowery deaths, buried in a gemstone garden.
So this is the shortest track at about 45 seconds. I have no clue what it's about. It's talking about death and strings and weird sounds behind it or aren't exactly music. It's strangely entrancing though. I wish it was longer because I think maybe if I heard more, I might be able to get more of a vibe on exactly what she's trying to say with it. I really don't know.
The London air caressed me with Wintersong. A melody so pretty as I walk along. So here I stand watching the smoke dance from the chimneys, warming the hearts of the strong inside. And the smile.
So from what I can gather, this song isn't about actual winter, but it's about feeling cold without the person that you love, but then feeling warmer when you think of them and know that they're there for you no matter what. The lyrics and delivery, I think, are great, but the music itself is kind of the star on this one. I really, really like the beat. The guitar grows and shrinks, and the background is just so good. Like, this could have been just an instrumental, and I would have been fine with that. I think the music was really good here. So this beat starts off making me think like we're about to launch into sexual healing. But then the keyboards come in and do something else entirely, so I was happy about that. It's also a short track, just under 2 minutes, but it's nice. It's a little simplistic compared to the rest of the album, like it was, I mean, it could have been programmed on a Casio, but the winds on it are really, really nice, the wind instruments. There aren't any words on it, it's an instrumental, I should have probably mentioned that, but it's pleasant to listen to. This beat is sick. The kick drum really carries this song, and then the bass line comes in, makes it really awesome. I think it could survive on that alone, but it doesn't even need to, because I think Ingrid's voice is really strong on this one. Her poetry is really pretty on this one. Not much else to say. I think that this one is probably my second favorite on the album after Candle Dance. I think that it really knocked it out of the park.
In a field of whispering dandelions, you are the most magical and fragile flower in the garden. Fragile? If I whispered I love you, you might...
And then here we come to the finale, Whispering Dandelions. I think we get a real glimpse of what Prince and Ingrid hoped that this album would end up being. It has her reading poetry, a really pretty poem about finding someone and deciding to try out their love together. And Prince in the background is making less music and more atmospheric sounds to help the mood. I think this track, without a beat and everything, is actually a little bit more successful in the execution than any of the songs that had, official music. It draws you in with her words instead of relying on the music to kind of keep you around, and I love this. I think it's a great way to end the album. So, in conclusion, I think this is pretty much the perfect album to be put on in the background while you're doing other things. It has some really soft beats that could lull you to sleep, and like I said, Ingrid's voice is so pleasant. I could just all day. It's got some amazing beats that can get you hot. It's even got a few of those that can just kind of help you just carry on during your workday. In the end, though, the star is Ingrid's poetry, and I think that really strikes a chord with every word she speaks. With her beautiful voice, you really feel it. I think this is a must-have for fans of spoken word. But I think it's really good just for anybody who just loves beauty. I think this album is beauty. So what did you think of May 19, 1992? Let me know down in the comments, and if you're interested in picking up the album, there's a link in the description. While you're doing that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and may you live to see the dawn. So, in conclusion... That's just stupid.